And Carrie and I woke up early this morning to come here and let you in on some of the areas of opportunity that we ran into as we opened our first 3 car washes. Our first inclination was to just share the fun, fluffy, fantastic stuff that we encountered and all the wonderful things that happen when you open a car wash, but we felt that the time would be better suited if we actually walked you through some of our hiccups, our gotchas, some of our obstacles, and how we overcame them. Is that okay? All right, sweet. As Ms. Rita said, I do work for a liquor store. Our owners actually have a real estate background. So they own the land that the actual retail stores sit on, our liquor stores. The reason why I'm bringing up ABC's background is because it's likely that some of our snags we ran into opening the car washes is because we were so good at doing liquor retail. We thought the car washing was gonna be seamless. And it's almost like we dove in head first, lightning speed, just to trip over our own brilliance, right? So thus, the title, Hitting the Ground Running, we literally hit the ground a time or two. It cost us some money, it cost us some time, right? And so we want to share some of that with you so that when you go and get ready to open your wash, maybe you can proactively bypass, right? And save yourself the time, money, and energy for not running into the issues that we ran into. Is that okay? Has everybody got their coffee?
Yes.
Okay, because guess what? Now, y'all heard Ms. Rita say she likes to roller skate and she's in a sorority, right? So we're gonna have fun in this presentation, okay? Relax, 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 and have fun. All right, Carrie, let's go. I told you. So here's what happens. I'm not gonna ask you to form families, even though I have a thought. I'm not gonna ask you to run up and do a face off. We don't even have fast money now. We don't have any money, okay? Steve Harvey is not back there behind the curtain. It's just me and Carrie. But what we want to do is we want to create a memory. We want you to walk out of this session and say, you know what, Nikita said that, oh, we got to look at the chemistry a little bit closer. Oh, we better make sure that we understand some of the township and city ordinances. And so we gave you all of these beautiful optics and the music and the fantasy so that you can keep the memory with you so that you can use it as you build your car wash. All right, Carrie, let's play. Okay, so show the question. We got about an hour. Here we go. We asked 100 new car wash owners, what topics do you wish you thought about before you open your wash? Does anybody out there have a topic they want to throw at me that you wish you had thought about?
Car damage.
Car damage, absolutely. Now here's the thing. If this was our survey and our name, you would have got it next. Because that's super good, but didn't make our survey. I better qualify. The 100 new car wash owners that we surveyed all reside within the brains of me and Carrie. 50 here, 50 there. Okay, super good. I also want to call out, since you did that, if you want to stick around after the presentation, we can trade secrets and ideas and vendor tips and things. By all means, do so. All right, Carrie, anybody else? Show the question again. We asked 100 new car wash owners, what topics do you wish you thought about before you opened your wash? I saw other hands. Damage back there in the back? Staffing. Oh, guess what? That made our survey. So we'll talk about that in a bit. One more person, because I think the game gives you like 3 strikes. One more person. We asked 100 new car wash owners, what topics do you wish you thought about before you opened your wash? Improvement? Recruitment, yes. Staffing, recruitment, employees. This is super good. We're going to broach those topics. We're going to broach damage a little bit. But then anything else that you don't see on our presentation, feel free to share because we are helping each other, empowering each other, okay? All right, so survey says number 8. Ooh, that's fancy. It's for your memories. It's for you. It's not for us. Okay, so vending machines. So we built our wash and we thought, we can make a little bit of more revenue if we own vending machines. So we went through all of the items that took to construct the building. We didn't realize that we wanted vending machines at that point. So when it was time to purchase our vending machine, we had to add on to our construction because you have to build a roof for the vending machine to sit on your site. That was one snag that we ran into. Another with vending machines, we know that we have to understand what's taxable and not taxable on our car wash packages. But now we have to worry about water and food tax in the machine. Small potatoes, but it's something else for us to consider as we're opening our wash. You thought the vending machine was a nice little investment to make a little more profit, but now you're spending money on construction now and maybe paying taxes, right? And then our third obstacle that we ran into with vending machines is a fun one. We had to figure out the science of how to load a vending machine. Products went in, and then what is most appealing to the eye? Should we load it in an hourglass shape? Right? Should we load the products, put them all frontal, and it looks like we do so much business in the vending machine and there's nothing left? What does that look like? Do you put them, as you learned in retail, at eye level? So after we went through all that science and marketing, we came up with a plan. But the point is, we want you to remember that if you want to take on something as small or minute as adding more profit with the vending machine, you have to consider factors like that that will cost you money and or time. All right, is that fun? All right, survey says number 7, Carrie. What is chemistry? Oh, chemistry is good. So, let me slow down for chemistry. There was so much we did not know about chemistry. So we had these fancy menu boards, and we said we offer ProShield solution and a firm tire wax and tire shine. And then we thought about it. If a customer pulls in and says, Nikita, we want ProShield, what chemistry makes that up? I would not be able to tell them. I don't know. Soap and water? I don't know. And so our advice is to make sure that whoever you partner with for their chemistry, you make sure that you understand the mixtures of the chemicals that go in to the fancy product that you're advertising on your menu board. A is good for customer service. Excellent. You're going to get the customer that comes in and wants to know what makes up ProShield. But B, guess what? Based on the chemical and how it stays on the car, it's taxable as well. So our rule of thumb is if it gets rinsed off the car, it shouldn't be taxed. But if it's going to stay on the car after the wash is finished, it needs to be taxed. Well, that means something because our accounting team is up in arms now trying to figure out how we can market and promote our loyalty memberships, right, at each level, because some get taxed and some don't. That matters. Chemistry matters. Say it with me. Chemistry matters. I'll tell you why else chemistry matters. Did you know that there's something called like pH balance and emulsification of chemicals? I didn't. Carrie and I did not know much about car washing. So what happens is if the chemicals are applied at a certain speed or at a certain space in the tunnel, right? If it doesn't mix properly with the water, it can hinder the drying process. We had some complaints when we first opened our car wash that people's cars weren't getting dry. We slowed the tunnel speed down. We made a few adjustments to the dryer, right, to see if it can go longer or put more power in it. And guess what? Cars still weren't getting dry. We didn't have the right chemical mixtures on the application of the vehicle at the right spot in the tunnel to get the car dry. That matters. That matters. It costs us maybe a loyalty member or two, right? That matters. Another factor about chemistry is one of our chemical vendors wouldn't even partner with us until we also purchased their water softener. Remember you bought your first house and that rain so soft guy came and he said, Nikita, if you get our soft water tank, it'll save you millions of dollars and your skin will feel all silky out of the shower and you won't have any kind of white stuff from your clothes out of the washer. And you were like, I don't have that $50,000 for that, or whatever that ridiculous price was. But guess what? That sales guy had a point. Most chemistry without a water softener will not perform as well, will not put the output of the great looking wash on your product if you don't use them in combination. Guess what? That's money. You got your budget out here, you ready to build your wash, you ready to partner with your chemical vendor, consider the water softener. It's a package deal, they come together. Is that good? All right, survey says, number 6, car wash cleanliness. So, funny story, my husband and I were leaving church last week, and he goes to get his car washed. He's a loyalty member, so he goes every day. Who does that, right? Anyway. So every day, whenever he has 20 minutes, he gets his car washed. Okay, whatever. So this time I was with him, and we go into the wash, and something smelled. So I looked at him, I'm like, did you have a gas? He's like, no, I didn't have a gas. And I'm like, well, what's going on, right? Did you all know that are you laughing? Because you know it's the truth. Reclaimed water smells bad. Reclaimed water is the water that they kind of reuse and clean, and then they use it to wash the cars. If you don't keep the machine maintained and have upkeep, the water stinks. It actually turns a color. So as a consumer, it's an oxymoron for me to think that I'm going to get a clean car out of a stinky wash. It doesn't make sense. It matters. It matters for sales. It matters for memberships. So the advice there is, please make sure when you partner with your tunnel equipment vendor that you have a clause in that contract where they will come out at a frequency and do preventative maintenance and update that system and other systems that require that kind of maintenance. 100%. You need it. Another factor on car wash cleanliness is in the tunnel, the walls can get a little dingy, grimy. And again, for me, it's presentation. Why would I feel like my car's gonna be clean and the tunnel's dirty? So reclaimed water tanks, make sure we take care of those. Make sure that we have a maintenance cleanliness in place anyway for the tunnel. But then don't forget the other parts of the wash that need to be washed. The guest restroom, the vacuum area. You want the towels folded neatly and nicely on there. You want your nice towel holder to not be dingy and dusty. I saw at a wash one time, there was a Windex bottle next to the arm. So ever so often, this employee will wipe off the XPT so that, where you pay is actually clean, but they will wipe off that arm. Just because cleanliness is next to godliness, please, by all means, consider what it would take monetarily as well as operationally to keep that wash clean. Is that good? All right, number 5, survey says surveillance cameras. So remember I said that ABC was an 87-year-old liquor store establishment. We know how to do liquor retail like nobody's business. Well, that's true. The other thing that's true about that is that we know how to survey a liquor store, right? This is a funny story. Especially, we know how to survey those little poles that are at the front of the parking lot at the liquor store, because that's where we have the most incidents, right? And people love, and they rush into ABC, right? However, when it was time for us to understand our design and our layout for our surveillance cameras at the car wash, we got tripped up a little bit. There were some things that we missed. Although we had down pat how to survey the area, the perimeter, the building, the customers coming in, the entrance to the tunnel, guess what we missed? We missed the team member that's leaving the tunnel and walking out to the XPT to get that cash after dark, after close. We didn't have that traffic. That is major. That's safety. That's safety 101. You want to keep your team members safe. You want to keep your guests safe. So guess what that did? It cost us more money. We need to add a few more cameras. We had to enhance our software. We had to upgrade our design and layout. Any change order, I'm a project manager to the core. Any change order in my project, you got paid because you asked me to do more money after we've already confirmed our initial design. So I want to make sure that we all keep in mind that safety is paramount when we think about our surveillance cameras. For me, for Carrie and I, the picture quality, the video quality is more important to me than any other factor or feature or functionality of a surveillance camera. So the other example that we lost is that we also didn't have the team member that's walking from the tunnel out to the trash can. Here's why. The city dictates where you put your trash bin. We approved the camera design at this point in the project. We didn't understand we were going to put the trash bin until we had our certificate of occupancy. The building was built. We didn't have surveillance for that team member's safety from the tunnel to the trash can. More money, another camera, enhanced software, right? So the lesson there is just try to make sure that you think about those things and not just your guest traffic and not just your regular perimeter, but also the movement from the tunnel to the XPT, right? At night, the car wash will close at 8 o'clock, it's gonna be dark. You wanna make sure you keep your team members safe. All right, sweet. Survey says, number 4, staff support. Who said staff support and recruiting? All right, so that is important. To us, where we had some opportunity is the first thing we did is we were a liquor store established. We had leadership in place. We had matrix in place. We had it going on. ABC knows how to do liquor. However, we didn't have an advocate for the car washes. We had Carrie and I. And any issue the car wash would run into, it would always take second priority over liquor business, right? Any repair we needed, we want lights. Lights attract customers. We're not getting lights if liquor needed lights, right? Or if liquor needed something more important. So it wasn't until we were able to convince leadership that we want a car wash advocate. Car washing is just as important as any other line of business. For some of you in this room, car wash is your business. It's your livelihood. You need somebody to come to champion the things that your wash needs. So that was our first lesson. We did move Carrie into a district manager role over all 3 washes, and now we hear from her at least 3 times a week, asking for more money and more things to enhance the car wash. And guess what? We support her and give it to her because it's just as important. So I would advise to have a car wash advocate. Another thing about staff support, we know that when we build a liquor store on a piece of land that we already own, we understand for 87 years we've understood how to market and how to understand our target markets. And we're only in the state of Florida. We know Florida like the back of our hand. So it's a no-brainer that when we build this store, it's going to do X amount of sales. We didn't realize we needed what's called a pro forma. You all know, but we didn't. To go and say, okay, well, can a car wash even sit in this area? Is it going to do as well? Even though the liquor store didn't do well, car wash might not either. So we had all that packed, and so for our staff support, what we wanted to do is make sure we had an advocate, but we also need to figure out from our real estate, could their skills translate from liquor stores to tunnels? Do we need to go out and outsource for that kind of support from a construction standpoint? And actually we did for the first 3 washes, and it cost us. We learned our lesson, we're here now, we come and learn and understand what the vendors do now, but the first 3 we didn't do that. The other thing that we knew well about a liquor store that we didn't know about a car washes is the pay. So we have our salary structure in place for our staff, and we have our incentive plan for our stores, because we understand about how much a liquor store will make in a certain area. We had no idea what sales would do. We saw some P&Ls of other car washes in the neighborhood, but we didn't know. Florida rains, we have hurricanes. So now we're talking about seasonality. We didn't know. So what we did though is we put a salary structure in place, and we put an incentive plan in place for the car wash. Guess what? We kind of had to partner with our team members and say, we're going to reserve the right to switch that incentive plan up a little bit because the sales is not meeting the incentive plan. So for me, that's super important. You want to retain employees just like you want to retain loyalty members. So the advice there is think about the incentive plan, put the clause in and reserve the right to readjust and revisit the incentive plan once you kind of understand the sales that wash will generate. Is that fair? Very important. Okay. All right. Carrie survey says number 3, township and city ordinances. This I think is my favorite topic because it's a terrible topic. So we have 2 car washes in the city of Jacksonville. One is in Orange Park, and then the other one is in Bay Meadows, an area in Jacksonville. Our other car wash is called Aloma Car Wash, and this is in Oviedo, which is a suburb of Orlando. So our second wash that we built, which is called Tubbs Car Wash 702, the whole construction, the whole time we built, and we got our construction permit. You have to get a permit to even build on the land. The address for that building was going to be 222 Blanding Boulevard. We told Google Maps, Waze Maps, right? We told Apple Maps. We told our marketing vendors for our mailers, right? We told our telecom vendor that's going to put our internet in so that we can't even run our machines. Everybody that knew about that building, we gave them 222 Blanding Boulevard. That's on our construction permit. Building got built, tunnel equipment was in. All the tunnel equipment got delivered without issue to 222 Blanding Boulevard. Get the certificate of occupancy. It says 220 Blanding Boulevard. What is happening? What just happened? I just lost it. So that's time and money. Google and Apple, they don't just change the address for you. It's a process, right? It's an application, right? And everything. We have people, you're mailing out mailers with 222. I need them to come at 220, right? Oh, what are we going to do? It was after the we didn't know they were going to change the address on us after they gave us the permit. So the advice there is that just be cognizant that you are at the mercy of those city and township regulators. You are at their mercy. That was a good example. Another good example is, guess what? I signed a form that said the dryer noise in our town is going to be 60 decibels, right? I had to learn dryer noise, I had to learn vacuum output, I had to learn things like transformer voltage. I'm a project manager who likes to roller skate. I'm not interested in transformer voltage. But I learned it because we had to do good on our car wash, right? So, dryer decibels had to be 60 decibels. Signed the form. I remember signing it because they won't give you a certificate of occupancy until you pass inspection, and it was 60. 2 years later, Carrie's Car Wash alone, nice neighbor, moved in at the new little building, and she complained about the noise ordinance. She complained that the dryers were too loud. No, they're not. I was standing by. I signed the form. I know the dryers are 60 decibels. I remember. Guess what I didn't remember? Remember I told you that the chemistry was making the cars not get dry? We adjusted the dryers at first because we thought that was an issue. And we ain't telling nobody we did that. And guess what happened? We got fined. We got a ding. They're still kind of going through the process now because we were at fault because we increased the noise levels. Please, if you don't know all of the regulations during construction, please be cognizant of them because they are coming. Let's talk about transformer voltage. We're going to build a car wash here probably by November in the city of Gainesville. If they let me do the design, I'm going to make it orange and blue. See what it gets me, right? So either way, we're ready to do construction. We submit to the city. GRU, Gainesville Regional Utilities, stops us and says, you know the transformer that you had there for your liquor store? It's only 208 V. You need a 460 or some wild number, right? And so we were like, we'll go buy some 460. It'll be our pleasure, Ms. Savage, but it's a 110-week logistical delay. So I was like, let me do that math. 2 years? 2 years before I get a transformer to get the car wash? No way. Right? So we're working with the utility company now. We're getting something that's called a step-up transformer. It'll sit next to the other one. But for our purposes in this room, more money, more conduit, more construction, right? Not as many delays because we're able to get that one next to the other one. We're going to open this wash in blue and orange in November. I'm going to promise you that, Ms. Rita. It's going to take. However, it's something that we had to get past as far as township ordinances. Lesson there, nothing else. If you don't know it all, partner so closely with your engineer and your construction company to make sure that at least y'all have items on the table so that you can address them more proactively. Is that fair? All right, survey says, number 2, amenities, fun stuff, ways to make more money, ways to make the guests feel great and wonderful. Okay, so today in this room, we're gonna make a pact. In our new car washes, we're gonna either sell our tiles or we're gonna repurpose our tiles. But today, we're gonna make that decision right now. You can't teeter with me. You can't. It's a whole different business operational process. Right? Now we're talking about taxes if we're gonna sell them. Now add some to our menu board. Can the XPT be configured to sell tiles? Can we sell them online? What does that mean? Now we're looking at the inventory system, right? So ABC and/or Tux Car Wash opted to repurpose the tiles. We took the easy route, didn't we? That's what y'all thought. But if you're gonna repurpose a tile, now you have to think about your operations. I have a nice car wash attendant that's scheduled for 8 hours. I'm only gonna get 6 hours of selling time or marketing time from him, word of mouth to our guests, because I need him to wash tiles for 2 hours. So you gotta think about that from an operational standpoint. Another snag that we ran into, because we made the best decision, which was to repurpose our tiles, we have to, another snag for the tiles is, we had to have a washing machine. So in order to have the washing machine, you had to build another groove or area on the site, but then you also have to run the power line and the water line. The water line wasn't included for the washing machine on the original construction diagram. It's new. So now you're paying more money and getting another contractor out now because you got to accommodate the washing machine. So tiles are great, tiles are wonderful. You do have to worry about inventory because I'll tell you a little small secret about me. Sometimes when I leave that skating rink, I don't leave that tile there. It's an accident. I'm sweating, I'm socializing, and that towel stay right around my neck, and I'm feeling like I'm active, and I'm hey. So guess what? So now we gotta keep our towel inventory updated, because some guests do accidentally keep it with them, take it with them, and it's a risk that you take when you try to understand your inventory levels on repurposing towels. Is that good? So that's one of the amenities that I want to talk about that impact our sales, or one of the snags that we ran into. What's another amenity that, my favorite one, air pressure valves. So over our vacuum hose, when we first built, we just had our vacuum hose. And you pull up and you vacuum and you're happy, right? However, we saw that the car wash around us had these fun air pressure valves that you run along the vacuum lines. So now the guests can be vacuuming, but the kid can be like air showering and having fun. Guess what? We want the kids to want to air shower because they want to come back. We want the kids to like the lights because we want it to make the parent come back. So we decided we're going to invest in air pressure valves. Guess what? Cost us money. Cost us another piece of equipment. But more than that, in order to get the air to come up and out of the valve on the vacuum hole, you have to run a line under the ground. So now we're back to construction and permitting. Oh my goodness. And the reason why I'm so dramatic about it is because it was something that we put in place to increase sales and to give a better customer experience. But guess what? It's rigmarole that we have to go through in order to get it built. It's necessary. It's fun. You want to make your guests come back. Is that good? All right. Top answer on the board. Tips that impact sales. So here's the truth. Everything that we've discussed today all impacts sales, right? Everything that we do is because we want our guests to come back. Guess what? We actually really want to put out a good wash, right? So we talk about loyalty memberships. We want to put out a super good wash, a clean car. We want our car to come out of the wash, and we want the people driving by to say, whoa, it's dry, it's clean, right? So the one thing that we would advise on what would impact sales is build your wash close to the street, to the intersection. We repurposed our store and built our wash. Our store sat back in the back, but I mentioned earlier, we don't have trouble getting people to drive in the ABC store. They'll find it. They'll drive behind an alley, right? They'll get there. But for a car wash, it's the lights that attract you and the colors that attract you, right? And then we do want to catch those compulsive car wash people. Come on, compulsive car wash people, come to our wash, right? So we actually had to now invest more money. We couldn't move the building. The building is back off the street, but now we have to invest in digital signage. And then Carrie's got this guy out there doing that now, right? Because we have our car washes sitting back off the floor. So again, please partner with a vendor that can do a pro forma for you, a construction vendor, an engineering vendor, that will let you understand how many cars can go through the wash in a day's time, where the tunnel should sit as regards the intersection, right? Digital signage is sweet. We love it. We have it. She can change the messaging on it. We can do the penguin out there. That's our logo. However, we wouldn't have had to invest in that if we moved the washer. We had to partner with our neighbors to get the shrubs and the trees cut down, right, so that you can see the signs and everything. So it's a little bit more investment, but it'll increase sales now. We'll get the cars in now. So that was a good one that impacted sales. What's another one that impacts sales? Guest services. Guest service. So I don't know if you all know this, but once we got to the car wash business, we joined these social media groups with other car wash owners. And they will tell you, this person's a fraud, or this type of activity is mainly fraudulent. Look out for that, things like that. So you want to make sure that you have a nice guest service structure in place. Most of the washes will have guest service issues like we want to cancel our membership. So you want to have that route as the right person. But you also want to have a person that can address other incidents. Oh no, the wash broke my tire. That kind of thing. So put guest services in place because you don't have time to come off the sales floor to address those issues. But if you have a guest services structure in place when you open, you have somebody that can attend to those needs. Is that good? Are we doing good on time? Am I good on time?
It's running out.
Oh, it's running out. She said it's running out, but that's good because that was the last answer on the board. So, thank you for your time. Please stay stay and ask questions. Okay, you can go to the question slide, because there it is. There it is. We can open up for questions now, or we can stay after. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that I did create a memory somehow. Yeah. You did it? Okay,